turning our attention to Notre Dame and Louisville. Notre Dame in the midst of 4 straight prime time games, second one in a row on the road. So what are we expecting as they take on a Cardinals team that finds itself up in the top 25, 5-0 under Jeff Brom? Everything that, if you painted the why Louisville will go over, we looked at the schedule and we said, look, they're going to be showing up to that Notre Dame game 4-1, maybe even 5-0. That is exactly where they are. What are we looking at in this matchup?
Coaching.
Ooh. How so?
I think Notre Dame has better players at almost every position except for wide receiver. It is just a tough spot for the Irish, right? Like, I think Louisville has a better head coach than Marcus Freeman. Obviously, Jeff Brom is a really, really accomplished coach. And that's not a knock on Freeman. I think Brom's like a top 15 coach in the sport.
Jeff Brom's got 9 years in his, 9 or
exactly
10 years of being a head coach under his belt, and good success at Western Kentucky, led Purdue to a Big Ten title game.
Can you get your team ready to play a third anticipated, competitive game in as many weeks? Ohio State, at Duke, at Louisville. Louisville's got an extra day of rest because they played on Friday night. Jeff Brom will have some stuff schemed up. It's going to be on Marcus Freeman to get these guys to come out and be like, hey, play to your talent level again. If you do, you should push these guys around on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I think Louisville has one receiver who really scares you. The quarterback's fine. He's not amazing.
Would that be Thrash? Jamari
Yeah,
Thrash?
I think Thrash is really good.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. But like, to me, it's a coaching matchup because the players here, I think, are decisively better for Notre Dame.
Interesting.
I know they're undefeated. I don't buy Louisville.
Yeah.
It's when I watch this team, it's like, okay, I think it speaks to kind of what you're saying about Brom, is that he is getting the absolute maximum out of this team, because I think part of what my problem with this offense is I don't buy Jack Plummer as anything more than a Jag, but we have seen Jeff Brom get a lot out of Jags with his offense.
Jag Plummer?
Yeah.
Jag Plummer. But yeah, like,
sorry, it's too easy. Okay.
Yeah.
But like, here's the thing. Plummer threw 5 touchdowns against Boston College. Take that game out of the season, and he's got 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He has not been spectacular. He does make too many mistakes. He puts the ball in danger a lot. And I think going up against this Notre Dame team, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody that Louisville has played, but we talked all off season about Louisville as a dark horse because of its schedule. Louisville's played Georgia Tech, Murray State, Indiana, Boston College, and NC State team. An NC State team that on the road, that's a very good win, and they should be proud of it. But it's also an NC State team that I think is performing below our expectations for it this season.
Yeah.
And this is a Notre Dame team that I think is far better than anything they have faced on both sides of the ball, on both lines of scrimmage. And I think the one thing on the other side of the ball with Louisville, they get a ton of pressure. Like, they are very, very good at that. They've been kind of good at that for the last few years, even with the coaching, turnover on the staff. But they also haven't faced an offensive line that's anywhere near as good as this one. And they also, despite that pressure, very seldom get home. So I don't know if that's going to be there for them. And I think Notre Dame, like Sam Hartman, has seen a lot of pressure in the last few weeks against Duke and Ohio State, and he's handled it pretty damn well for the most part. I just don't think that the advantage that gave them in those games that they've won is going to carry the same kind of benefit to them in this matchup against Notre Dame. I think the Irish getting their receivers back is going to help that offense. I think it's going to give them a lot more options and make it much more difficult to slow down if I'm Louisville. I think they can lean on you with the run game. I think they could keep that Louisville offense off the field, which is the one thing you probably want to do, because I don't want to give Jeff Brom chances to put up points against me, because he'll do a good job of it. He's very good at it. So I look at this matchup, and it's like you said, but everywhere I look on the field, I feel like Notre Dame is better than Louisville. And I would say Jeff Brom, I think, with the experience and everything he's done, is definitely a better head coach to this point as far as game day than Marcus Freeman has been. But is he that much better where I can really think Louisville's going to go and beat the Irish in this game? I don't think so. I think Notre Dame's been tested. I think they've passed a lot of these tests. And I think it's at home, so I can't completely rule Louisville out. But just based on what I see, like Chip, the teams and numbers thing, your teams and your vibes, My vibe from Louisville tells me that this one could get ugly fast, and that's just kind of what I'm expecting.
All right, to argue the for Louisville point beyond the coaching, totally agree with Tom that Louisville's offense has been very dependent on opponent quality. Like, they have blown out all the bad defenses they've faced. Depending on how good you think Indiana's defense is, you can kind of put that in a weird category, or you can mark them.
Well, it's Indiana and NC State. Like, the outliers are when,
right.
Granted, like, not road game for Indiana, but not in what I do think is going to be an incredible atmosphere. Like, night game, you're in the top 25, the Jeff Brom arrival. Everybody who has been opening up their checkbooks and their hearts is looking at this as like, okay, here we go. And they are going to be primed. So what can happen? Sorry, bud, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I think that's exactly the point. Like home field in college is real, right? Playing back-to-back tough games is a real thing. If you look at it, NC State kind of held both these offenses to similar success rates. Not identical, similar. Notre Dame found a way to hit some explosive plays against NC State, while Louisville largely did not. If Notre Dame can't get out and score, that's how this game stays close. Like, Notre Dame needs to go score 30 plus in this one, right? Louisville does not present as a good defense so far. But if you want to know how it stays close, it's that. Now, they're supposed to get Thomas and Greathouse back this week from the press stuff that I read and watched. Obviously, Irish Illustrated does an awesome job. We hope those guys are back, because clearly they're better than what the backups are. But if Notre Dame just can't score, if they're an NFL team scoring wise, in the teens, 20s, like they've been the last couple weeks, it's hard to blow a team out if you only score 20 something. And that's how Louisville hangs around. And I do have confidence Louisville will scheme up, one or two things. Just one or two things should not be enough. But if it is, that's where you got problems. If this Irish offense just continues to not score, I have max confidence in Notre Dame's defense. I think they're really good.
Yeah. Will be very interesting to watch. Again, that is a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Notre Dame currently favored by 6.5, over under of 54.5. All right, we're going to do something a little bit special here for all of y'all watching live. You're listening to the audio product. Well, I'm sorry, the podcast is about to end. If you are here on YouTube, we've got more big game breakdowns coming. So we will be back on Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, for the best part of any week in the college football season. It will be our locks for week 6. And you can follow him on Twitter at BudElliott3. You can follow him at Tom Fernelli. You can follow me at Chip_Patterson. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.